Hi everyone, it's Celeste. Welcome to my booktube channel. And today's video is a continuation of the books that I've read so far in 2016. I'm new to booktube, but I'm not new to reading. And as I sit here right now at the end of July, I've read 36 books, I think. And so I had already done a video with books 1 through 9. So today's video is 1 through 8. I'm sorry. Today's video is books 9 through 16, and I didn't realize this, but I sat down and plotted out which books to do in which video, and the first video were books from January and February, and so all the books that I'm going to show you today, 9 through 16, were books from March. And so some of you were like, Celeste, that's a lot of books to have finished in March. Yes, March has spring break in it, so I get more reading done during that time. Also, and I don't think I said this in the other video, I count a book finished as in when I finish it. So I might be reading a book for over a year. Like that happens sometimes with large history books and whatnot, where I read a few pages every night for months, and then I count it as being read whenever I finish it. So some of these books might have been started in February and finished in March, but you know what? That's just how I do it, so here we are. Okay, so the first book that I wanted to show you guys is Illuminae. And I got this for my birthday in January for my mommy. And I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. And part of what I love about it is just so well made. Like, it's beautiful. Such a pretty book. And I know it's really popular on BookTube and really popular in life and whatever. I'm looking forward to Gemina. Looking forward to it. I like a mixed media book. I know some people said that they couldn't get into it, that they couldn't connect to the characters. I didn't have a problem with that. In fact, I felt like it was beautiful in ways that I couldn't explain. Like some of the pages where it's just the words are in patterns or whatever. I really loved it. I connected, so 5 stars. The next book that I have to show you guys is another popular book, and it's Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. And this one is a graphic novel, and it's very colorful and glossy and just all the good stuff. I got a cat loose. And I got a kid loose. Again. It's like it's like Groundhog Day in July. Go on. If you can't be quiet, go away. Okay. Nimona is great. It's like a spin on superheroes, but it's villains, and that's all I'll say about that. So if you haven't read it, or you're not familiar with Noelle Stevenson, get familiar with this. This is great. I gave this one 5 stars. Okay, the next book I read was one that I stole from my daughter, who was just in here snorting and laughing. She bought this at a book fair at her school, and it is Drama by Raina Telgemeier. I probably screwed that name up a lot. Ooh, it's shiny. You see the shininess? It is another graphic novel. It's colorful. And it's about teenagers. And it's about, not drama, well, it is drama, but it's about drama like drama kids. Go on. Go on. Okay. Kids everywhere. It's about kids involved in theater. And I felt like it was really pretty well done. The kids in it were a lot like kids. And I felt like when I'm reading a graphic novel, one of the things I look at is the use of space. The use of space and each panel, how did it have a purpose? Kind of like whenever I look at regular books, like what's filling space and what has a purpose? This all had a purpose, and so I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and it'll go back on my daughter's shelf eventually, but for now it's on my 2016 shelf. Okay, the next book that I have to show you is The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. I have the updated, it has this weird, I don't know how I feel about these. It's the updated cover. The original cover had this weird heart thing. This is the updated cover to look like I'll Give You the Sun. I read I'll Give You the Sun last year, I think. And so I had bought this and had it on my shelf, and I was just waiting for a time to read it. I'll tell you, I liked it but I didn't love it. It wasn't I'll Give You the Sun for me. I think that it's really hard to write a book about grief and mourning and that process without being whiny. And that sounds really harsh. I know I sound like a meanie head, but like the main character, she just bothered me. And I wanted to feel for her, and I wanted to connect to her, but I just couldn't. And she just, no. And I understood, like, her actions. I wasn't condemning her for her relationship situation, but she just whined and whined and whined. It was so morose, and I don't know. Maybe it just really wasn't all that for me. So anyway, I gave it 3 stars. Really well written. I know there's other people who really love it. So I would recommend people read it, and maybe they'll like it more than me. I don't know. Okay. The next one that I read is about mourning, but it's about a different type of mourning. It is a tiny little book. It's called Survival Lessons by Alice Hoffman. Alice Hoffman, you've probably heard of her work. She's written a ton of books. One of her more popular ones is Practical Magic, which was turned into a movie in the 90s with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. And so you would be familiar with her from that. This is about her battle with cancer. And it really kind of reads as sort of a self-help thing. I got it on Book Outlet, and actually my copy is a signed copy. I don't know if you can see it. Woo. Can you see it? Can you see it? It's a signed copy, so that's really cool. But I know that some people didn't really like it. I saw on Goodreads. Wascally Wabbits. Okay, I saw on Goodreads where some people didn't really like it, and they thought it was preachy and weird. I don't know, I didn't feel that way. So, especially if you know someone who's dealing with either a relative or who's dealing themselves, I would recommend this book, not just for cancer, but I mean, if you're dealing with some life-altering experience that is frightening, this is good. Okay, and I gave it, did I tell you guys? I gave it 5 stars. Oh, can you see my shirt? I'm wearing my Nerdfighteria DFTBA. I'm a nerd fighter, y'all. Okay. Next book, and I haven't been numbering them. This is book number 14. Okay, so I talked about in my other video about the books that I've read in 2016, about how I felt really like a real cad because I had Stephanie Perkins sign my copy of Anna and the French Kiss without having read it, and I felt terrible about that. Well, in the spirit of continuing with that, I read Lola and the Boy Next Door, and this copy is not signed. I didn't bring this to Minneapolis with me last year, although I think I had bought it. I think I had all 3 of those companion novels. I don't know what to say. I like Anna more as a character. Lola just felt, I don't know, weird. But yeah, she's a weird character. But she just didn't feel as fleshed out and as relatable to me. I don't know, maybe it's just my opinion. But I liked how the story worked in this. It had more movement. Lola, I don't really know. And Cricket. Cricket was great. So anyway, I liked it. I didn't fall like it. I couldn't give it 5, so I gave it 4. But I really enjoyed it, and so if I see Stephanie Perkins again, this one I might get her to sign it. I don't know. Probably one of the ones that she edited, though. I love those too. Okay, guys, and the next book, which is book number 15, I'm almost done with these, is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This was another book that I asked for my birthday, and so my mommy got it for me. Thank you, Mommy. And this is the first Sarah J. Maas that I've ever read. So I read it. I was, like many people, I was drawn to the fact that it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, loosely. And I don't know, the cover's really pretty. Like, this cover is just, And so I read it and I enjoyed it. There were some issues with it. I don't know. I issues between when I read, sometimes I see problems with the relationships between men and women in these books, especially books that are young adult or new adult. This would fall in the new adult category because, duh, the age of the hero, also steamy sex scenes. So, I mean, whatever. I don't know. I was sneaking my mom's Danielle Steels when I was a teenager, so I don't have any room to talk. Anyway, I gave this 4 stars. I didn't love it and did not like it. So, and also the hype was already starting to build by the time, because I read this in March, like towards the latter part of March. So the hype was already starting to build for A Court of Mist and Fury, which I will talk about next video where I'm recapping the next set of books. Spoiler alert. Okay, and then the last book that I read in March is Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I got this book because I want to say Kat at the Little Book Owl talked about it, but a lot of other booktubers talked about it too. And I love the cover, by the way. It's so cool. But I also love reading about teenagers who are dealing with bullying and issues of self-identity. It doesn't have to be like in this book, it's about a gay teen. It doesn't have to be about that. Just finding one's identity in general. And so anyway, I really enjoyed it, and I felt like it was really realistic in the sense that I could see this happening. Although, one thing that I'll mention real quickly, they call it the Tumblr. Okay, I work with teens. You only put a "the" in front of it generally when you're old. So when these teens were saying the Tumblr, it made me feel like their grandmas were talking about Tumblr and not them. I don't know. Just a small thing. But I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. And so there's that. Now, that's all that I read for March. The next set will be April and then part of June. I didn't read anything. I didn't finish any books in May. I mean, I read books, but I didn't finish any books in May because May for me is a very, very difficult time because it's the end of the school year. So there's that. Okay, so those were books 9 through 16 of what I've read this year. If you've read any of these books or you want to discuss these books or whatever, I don't feel confident in doing a full-on book review where I talk about specific things because it's been so long since I've read them. So, but if you want to discuss some things, I'd be happy to discuss some things. So let's see if I can do one of those cool book stacks that everyone does. I'm such a sheeple. Sheeple.